Hi, this is Mehta here alongside Brendan Prunty after the Eagles' 23-11 victory over the Giants in the divisional playoff game.
And we are here in the end zone, and that would, this is a place the Giants never got to today thanks to the Eagles' defense, which was outstanding.
That's a good point. The defense was the story of the day. This Eagle defense, lights out in the last month or so, kept the Giants out of the end zone.
No question.
Two big plays, Brendan. Two fourth-down plays in the second half. First, let's start with the 4th and inches after the Giants were unsuccessful in a challenge, challenging the spot, lost a timeout. Eli Manning gets stuffed on about 4th and probably 1 or 2 inches, right?
Yeah, not more than that. And you know what? You gotta, if you're the Eagles, at least you got to be thanking your lucky stars that they chose to run it with Manning instead of Jacobs there. You know, maybe Jacobs got a little more head of steam and things turn out the other way.
Maybe, but it's an inch. You're not gonna fault Tom Coughlin for that call. You got to make that play.
The thing where the Eagles defense really showed up was the 3rd downs. I mean, the Giants were just stifled everywhere. You know, as soon as they got inside the red zone, it was like they just hit a wall and they couldn't do much.
Right, and Jim Johnson, the Eagles defensive coordinator, said after the game that forcing the Giants into 3rd and long, obviously a big key to this game. The other 4th down play, 4th and 2, they run it. Jacobs gets stuffed. A lot of penetration by that Eagles defensive line. Yeah,
those front guys just came up and just plugged the hole real quick. You know, both Andy Reid and Jim Johnson talked a lot about that afterwards. They were, you know, surprised about how much penetration they got.
Yeah, it was Mike Patterson and Broderick Bunkley, really the two key guys on that 4th down play. But everybody got involved. Right. Chris Gokon, the linebacker, told me after the game that he knew that they were going to make that stop because this defense has a lot of confidence, giving up just 3 touchdowns in the last 5 games. I mean, that's Baltimore
they're playing really well
Ravens.
right now. They're playing really, really well right now. And you know, if you're the Cardinals, you got to be a little concerned. But you know what? That's next week. But here, obviously, things went the Eagles' way.
Right, and it started off with the Asante Samuel interception of a terrible pass by Eli Manning.
Yeah, right off his back foot. Right. Samuel picked it, and that set them up right there for that first touchdown.
In the first half, the Eagle offense basically did nothing. They did have a nice balance of run and pass. Andy Reid has been criticized for that this year, but in the second half, he went to his bread and butter, and that was number 5.
Yeah, McNabb looked really good. You know what? That drive there at the end of the first half where they set them up for the field goal to put them ahead. I think it was 10-8. They just got in a rhythm, and it built in the second half. I know he had the interception right out of the gate in the second half, but it sort of built a momentum. You could see him being very comfortable, whereas Eli Manning was not. Absolutely.
And the play calling, Andy Reid, 16 of the first 20 plays in the second half, encompassing the entire 3rd quarter, 16 of them were pass plays. Right. Only 4 runs.
And this was where the Eagles came up big. Was they got by without having a big game out of Brian Westbrook, which is key.
Right, and that's a couple games in a row, but they didn't need it because this defense is absolutely on a roll. The Eagles march on to Arizona next week for their 5th NFC Championship game in the last 8 years. Yeah. The Giants, well, they go home. The better team today was Philadelphia. They were the better team coming in. Yep. I know Giants fans didn't want to hear that, but really the better team wanted that.
It was just the game where you just sensed that the Giants never could get in the game, and the Eagles controlled from pretty much the start.
Yeah, that's about it from Giant Stadium. Brendan Prunty, I'm Mehta.
Signing off.
We'll see you next year.